So when we confront a problem, it stretches us. We are stretched and stretched and stretched. I know right now one of you or more is thinking, is she going to snap that rubber band? No, because it hurts. We don't want to get snapped.
Well, as a former trainer in merger acquisition for a Fortune 100 company, I saw firsthand the reactions to change. No one loves it. But teams need to be prepared and empowered to handle the disruption, or the organization as a whole is going to suffer.
So today we're going to talk about the way to become rubber band resilient. How do you react? How do you reframe that issue? And then how do you re-energize from your disruption?
Disruptive events happen every day. Some are huge and we see them coming. Technology advances, staffing issues, or economic indicators. And some are just small enough to be annoying. But no matter what the disruption is, your team, organization, leaders need to know and understand how to be resilient and to stay energized through the transitions.
Or what about you are charged with staffing? I know there's a lot of talent and development people in the room. So you have 10 positions that need to be filled. You know when you walk into work today, chances are maybe you might come up with 2. It's been looming over your head for the last 2 weeks. This is your disruption, a problem, a challenge. I want to take you on a trip to the emergency room to tell you how this is working in your body. So number 1 child, Paige, was about 9 years old. Her brother, JP, 7. And there is a ruckus in the house. You know this? Does anyone here have multiple children? Or maybe you were the ruckus causer? So you run from one end of the upstairs to the other end screaming. And there's no apparent reason why the running is taking place, but it's developed into this big thing. So I'm downstairs and I hear this happening. And I say, what is going on up there? Do I have to intervene? Well, the screaming gets louder and louder. And before I know it, I'm about ready to head to the stairs. I hear the scream that no parent wants to hear. I hear the blood-curdling scream. I run to the scream. Around the corner comes my daughter, screaming, JP's hurt, I didn't do it. JP rounds the corner screaming, hand to the cheek. I peel back his hand, I see the gash. I know right where we're going. His cheekbone had collided with the doorknob and we're off to the ER. We get to the ER, we check in, and we're told to wait. And we wait, and we wait. Well, nearly an hour goes by, and the washcloth that was on his face has fallen to the floor and has been replaced with a paper towel. And I go up to the nurse. I said, excuse me, in my nicest tone, like, please help me. Excuse me, do you know how much longer we might have to wait? And she looks at my child and she looks at the chart and she says, be happy you're waiting. You're not much of an emergency today. I'm like, oh, okay. Back we go. But she was right. We weren't much of an emergency. The broken bones, the heart attacks, the gunshot wounds, whatever is the emergency, you know, you watched ER. They go through the double doors first. The little kid who needs stitches on his cheek, not so much. So I like to talk about stretching during these times and not snapping. Well, what I have in common with David Beckham is an injury. Yeah, I know, I don't play soccer, but I love the sport. And we both share the same injury. In 2010, David Beckham ripped his Achilles tendon. In the middle of a game, it took him out of contention for World Cup that year. Soccer fans were just destroyed. He was an elite athlete. His body needed to be at peak performance all the time. In 2015, I ripped my Achilles. I did it by standing up, getting out of a chair. Not the most sexy way to get an injury. But it put me in a place of total disruption. My job, I could no longer really perform. I stand on stage, I walk back and forth. I was on crutches for 3 weeks. Well, if anyone has had an injury like this, you know, after the surgery, after a little bit of recuperation, you get a prescription from the doctor. He writes it out and it says physical therapy. Who here has done a little physical therapy, right? Yes. It sounds not that bad. I'm seeing just a few cringes too. Because you know, when you go to physical therapy, they eventually bring out this. Another form of rubber band that is called the resistance band. Well, in order to build the muscle back, you must do some resistance exercises. When you face challenging times, it's been described to me as I didn't have the muscle I needed to get through that event. But once you get through the event, once you've been stretched, you begin to build a muscle against that resistance. That one foot that I couldn't stand on for over a year. And that's because I had to build the muscle. Everything is the bear. Your line cook who didn't show up is the bear. The traffic that you hit on the way to work is the bear. Your mother-in-law is the bear. You name it. We all have those bears. And we are running around with elevated stress all the time. So when we're stressed, we have this cascade of effects of our body not operating at the highest level. Given the tools, are you ready to react to your problem? Are you ready to reframe it? And are you ready to re-energize?